Did Bitcoin just bottom out over here, or do we have one more downside to go? Let's find out in this video. Hi, welcome back to River TA, and like always, let's have a look at the market. So as you guys all know, because my analysis is based on Elliott wave theory, if you do not understand my analysis or do not have the fundamental basics of Elliott wave theory, I'll upload the video right over here, so please do click it and have a watch. And I'll also leave the link in the description below in the video. Okay, so I want to start off today's analysis by looking at the long-term outlook of Bitcoin. And we know that in Elliott wave theory, there are 5 waves of motive wave. And if you look at my chart, we can clearly see that 5-wave structure. So starting from the bottom over here to the top over here, we had wave 1, then wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then we had continuation of wave, the 5th wave. So wave 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, and then we are currently going through 5-4. Now, I primarily believe that we still have one more drive to the upside, because we still haven't seen the 5th continuation of wave 5. So the question right now would be, is this a great time to buy? And to answer that question, I want to first have a look at the fear and greed index of Bitcoin. And if we have a look at it, we are currently at an extremely fearful zone. And every time Bitcoin went to this extremely fearful zone, it did create some nasty downside price action like the one we are seeing these days. But I want to point out a key critical level where the value of Bitcoin's fear and greed index fell below 10. And there were only 6 iterations of that, including the one we are having right now. So we had one in February 2018, November to December of 2018, August of 2019, March of 2020, May to July of 2021, January of 2022, and the one we are having right now. And I've marked all of these days onto my chart right over here. And every time Bitcoin's fear and greed index fell below 10, it has either started off the bear market with corrective wave A, the first macro dip, which is represented by the red vertical line, or it was very near to finishing the macro correction and signaled the start of a bull market, which is represented by the green vertical line. Although there was this one outlier case which is represented in the sky blue line, because it wasn't the first dip nor it was near the macro bottom. But anyhow, if we have a look at the green vertical line, the interesting thing about this green line is that after the Bitcoin's fear and greed index fell below 10, if the Bitcoin's price action also dropped below the red moving average in my 3-day chart, it did produce some phenomenal point to buy dip. And we only had 3 cases of those. We had one in November 2018 to April of 2019, in March of 2020, and we had one last week where Bitcoin stayed down there for 2 days. Now the past 2 iterations did fall a lot lower from the red moving average than the one we had last week, where we only fell this much. So this may suggest that we may have some more selling pressure that would push the price of Bitcoin a little bit more to the downside into mid to low 20,000s. Okay, so now that we have looked at the fear and greed index and its relations to its Bitcoin chart, let's go back to my main chart and have a look at the chart to determine whether Bitcoin can actually go lower or not, or how far is it going to go down. So I have some important trend lines on my chart, but let's turn our chart from log to linear. And the reason why I've said that if Bitcoin chooses to fall below last week's low, which is at around mid 25,000, I do believe that Bitcoin will stop to fall at around these 2 trend lines, which is at around 21,000 and 18,000 if Bitcoin decides to fall anytime soon. But if Bitcoin can go sideways for now and decides to fall later, because the trend line is naturally going up, the drop target would also become higher and higher. Not only the trend line, but if we take out the Fibonacci retracement from the starting point to the end point of wave 3, we can see that the 0.618 and 0.764, which is an ideal point for the retracement of a motive wave, the price action aligns with the trend line over here. So not only the Fibonacci retracement, but if we change our chart to log and turn on our Bollinger Band, we can see that every time the price action of Bitcoin came to the low band, not a wick, but with a candle body, it was the macro bottom. So we see one over here where the candle body was down here. Over here also there was a candle body exiting the lower band. But over here, although we did see a wick exiting the lower band, we didn't see a candle. So there is a potential possibility where a candle is filled like this to the downward. And that would produce the macro dip. So before I end today's long-term analysis on Bitcoin, I would like to give out 2 price points. The first one is around 39,500 to 39,800. If Bitcoin can close a high time frame candle, like a daily candle above 39,500 like this, I would say that the macro low was in last week, and Bitcoin will likely go higher than the 69K, which is Bitcoin's all-time high, with the continuation of that 5th wave. But if Bitcoin closed a daily candle below 25,000, which was last week's low, like this, I would say that Bitcoin will likely go further down into low 20,000, or maybe make a wick down to 18,000. But I personally think that 18,000 is as far as Bitcoin can go. I personally don't think Bitcoin can go any lower than that. So that was it for today's analysis. If you enjoyed this content or got anything out of it, please like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.